Okay, so hello, welcome to our next Brno Java User Group meetup. Today we have Lukáš Hanušovský and Martin Bartoś, both from security team in IBM. But today talking about their product or project, which is called Keycloak. So guys, floor is yours.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Lukáš. I work as a quality engineer right now in IBM, but as an ex-Red Hatter, I've been with Red Hat 5 years, and let's say that our division was moved to IBM, but it's still the same project, same people. My daily work is right now collaborate on a test framework that they dedicated for Keycloak, but I also help with delivery, release testing, infrastructure automation, pipeline scripting.
Yeah, and my name is Martin Bartoś, and I'm senior software engineer at IBM, and I'm part of Keycloak Cloud Native team, and our main responsibility is Quarkus integration, then server configuration. We have also Keycloak Kubernetes operator, so we are dealing with that. Then also we are handling observability and performance itself. Yeah, so that's basically it.
For today's agenda, we prepared 5 chapters, a little bit about Keycloak, what is Keycloak, also what are new features in Keycloak. Then Martin will show you 2 demonstrations. One is how to integrate Keycloak application with, in this case, Quarkus extension, and the second is about observability in Kubernetes cluster. The second part where I will speak about is more about our project, who will work on it, how you can contribute, join the community, and the last will be also a short demo, how it's written, how it helps our project right now, and we hope it will be used more and more by our community. So, Martin, stage is yours.
Thank you. So, here's the question: what is Keycloak, right? How many of you have ever heard about Keycloak? Show me your hands. Okay, so this is Keycloak user group right now. Anyone contributed? Have you ever contributed to Keycloak? No, just using it. Anyone using Keycloak? Okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, so nice. Some brief introduction, right? Like basic answer to that question is like Keycloak is identity and access management solution, and it helps you to authenticate and authorize users for services. You can even authenticate devices, so it's quite nice feature. Yeah, so the normal use case is that you have some applications in your company or on your own, right, personal stuff, and you need to provide some user management. You need to authenticate them, ensure that the user has the proper rights, so authorization for that, right? So that's why here is Keycloak. But do you really need an identity access and access management? Simple answer is yes, you do, because sometimes users or customers tend to create some small stuff. Hey, I only need this small authentication code or something that I manage only a small amount of users, whatever. But usually there's not successful end. How to say it? There's not successful end on your own is very problematic, I would say, and as we are human beings, we are doing mistakes, right, and everything. So that's why we have something like Keycloak, as this is an open source project. I think, yeah, it's almost more than 10 years old. Yeah, so I think it's quite mature and going with the nice direction, I would say, still updated, up to date with this modern world, how to say it. Yeah. So the main goal is to authenticate and authorize users and services, as I mentioned, but there's also the ability to use the single sign-on. It means that if you have in your company multiple applications and everything, you can authenticate only once, and then you don't have to authenticate again for different applications, right? So everything is managed by Keycloak. Keycloak is very extendable, how to say it. Let's say it like that, as you can even create a bridge to existing security infrastructures. It means that you can provide, you can involve like third-party identity providers, OpenID Connect, SAML providers or Kerberos, right? You can even use the social providers, like you can have the ability to authenticate via Google, GitHub, Facebook, whatever, right? Then you can also connect Keycloak to your Active Directory, LDAP. Sometimes customers or users have their own relational database of users, and you just connect it to that, and every operation like user registration and everything will be executed in your relational database. So it's quite a nice feature. Yeah, run and scale in cloud and non-cloud environments. Keycloak can be used in a small deployments, but even in production, high scale deployments. So that's the nice thing about that. And right now we also provide the passwordless authentication, so no passwords are needed. You can use biometrics, passkeys, security devices attached via USB or whatever, right? Yeah. So it would be nice to talk about Keycloak in numbers, because yesterday we've exceeded 30,000 GitHub stars. So with our Brno team, we celebrated it yesterday in the pub. It was quite nice celebration, let's say. We have more than 1,300 contributors, so I think it's quite a lot for a project like that. And as you can see, the popularity of the stars history, right? You can see it's more and more popular if we have the indicator of the stars, right? The initial commit was done in 2013 here, and we are inside the CNCF project right now, incubating project, but we also want to be graduated project, and yeah, we are under Apache license too. So, like 1 week ago, it's like that, right? We released Keycloak 26.4, because before that users complained a lot, like, you know, hey, you have major releases every 3 weeks, you have many breaking changes and something like that, and it was really difficult for users to upgrade, or the deployers of Keycloak, right? So we slowed down, and right now we release minor releases every three months, right? So no more breaking changes, so it's nice for upgrading. Yeah. So what's new in Keycloak 26.4? We have the supported passkeys integration. Before that it was in a preview mode, and we promoted it to support it. So it's nice feature about using the biometrics and stuff, how to authenticate users. Then also supported specification for financial grade API used in banks, banking systems, etc. There's the support for demonstrating proof of possession. That helps you to improve security even more, as you have token bind to specific clients. I don't know how many of you are familiar with OAuth 2 standards, OpenID Connect. Yeah, not so many. Yeah, so I hope it's gonna be understandable somehow. Yeah, yeah. So we also have in a preview mode federated client authentication, with also for SPIFFE and Spire. I don't know if you have ever know, some of you know, don't know about it. It's quite a big topic in Kubernetes world right now for the workload identities and stuff. So it's nice that it's moving. We heard quite a lot of times that users would like to have it. So yeah, it's already there in a preview. There's improved deployments across availability zones. So it should be simplified right now. The performance might be better and stuff like that. Yeah, and more stuff. I would say that's quite a lot of stuff without breaking changes. So yeah, users are quite happy about this. Yeah, so it's demo time. It's gonna be live, so maybe something will broke. We will see. So we will secure your applications. It means in this demo setup, we would consider have some the IAM, Identity Access Management solution, right? Then we will have the front-end application. Yeah, I will show with cursor. Yeah, front-end and back-end application. Everything separated on different ports and everything, right? The first step that you need to do is to connect all these applications to Keycloak somehow. Not Keycloak, might be based on the standards OAuth 2 and OIDC. It should be like vendor agnostic, so it doesn't matter if it's Keycloak, if it's something else, whatever. But you need to provide it, you need to connect these applications that the system knows about it, right? So in the beginning, these applications, you just tell them where the IAM system is, and based on the specification, these applications calls the specific endpoints. I get the metadata about the system and stuff. You can also get the information about public keys and where is it stored, because after that, when for example, a backend application receives the metadata and the public keys, it caches these keys, and after that, when someone is doing the request on the backend service, it just validates the token offline. So there's no need to call the IAM again, you know, because the system would be overwhelmed and stuff like that. There are some scenarios that you know, for the JSON web tokens, you need to revoke these tokens probably. So sometimes these applications calls token introspection endpoint, but I don't want to go into details much more, and just simply ask, hey, is this token still valid? Based on the, you know, expiration is all right, okay, it didn't expire, but you know, there might be some policy like that the user is deleted or something, so there might be the issue. But yeah, the main purpose is to have the offline token verification. So that's nice. For this demo, the backend application will take care only about bearer tokens. So there's no possible case that if you access the backend API, you will be redirected to Keycloak to authenticate. So it just take the token, check if it's all right, do the verification, and based on the authorization rules, roles, and stuff like that, yeah, returns the response. On the other hand, there's the front-end application. That's quite different because usually users accessing the front-end application, right? And for this demo application, and even for the setup for OAuth and OIDC, you just if the client knows that the user is not authenticated and needs to be authenticated, it just redirects the user from the front-end application to the IAM system, right? So then you just type the username, password, whatever, right? And then it's redirected back. Mainly for this is used the authorization code flow but if you're not familiar with the old standards, I think doesn't matter to discuss it more like that. And then the front-end application has the token, and the token can be used for accessing the backend data, right? So you don't need to store any passwords or anything in your application. You just trust the IAM system that makes it all for you, right? So there's no possible leakage of passwords or sensitive credentials of your users, right? And then you just take the you just agree. There's the consent. You gave the consent that the front-end application can do stuff on your behalf, right? So the application has certain rights that you allowed that the application can do. For example, accessing the data from the backend side, right? So that's quite the initial idea how it works, even in production systems, let's say. What technologies were used? I hope you know Quarkus. Do you know? Yeah. Martin, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, so it's Java user group. So I used Quarkus as the Java framework, kind of, like that. And for the backend, there's going to be the Quarkus application with the REST API plus database. So the data will be stored there, and the data are not anywhere else, even on the front-end side, right? For the front-end application, it's usually like single-page application or some client application with TypeScript and stuff like that. But for these purposes, for this user group, right, like more Java the better, probably. So I use the Quarkus application again with the Qt. I don't know if it's correct pronunciation. Yeah, Qt. It's like the server templating, whatever. So everything's rendered on the server and then sent to the client, right? But we will consider it's like single-page application somewhere on the client side, something like that. Yeah, that might be it. Keycloak as the IAM, obviously, right? Yeah, on Monday I was sitting on my balcony and I was thinking about this presentation, and I was like, oh, that would be nice to have the demo focused on us, right? So we have in common that we are in Brno, right? And I would say the typical thing for us in Brno and Czechia itself is beer, right? Because yeah, because that's it. And I think I could prepare some demo about beer or something. And I live like 30 meters across the street. There's the Staro Brno brewery. So I did some application for the Staro Brno brewery, right? So the concept is that users can authenticate to the application and then see the possible beers. You know what's in what the Staro Brno offers, right? So we have the 3 beers right now, like that, and only authenticated users can see them, right? Log out, yeah, whatever. So right now this is the architecture. We have the beer service where you have the data about the beers and stuff lying on the 8082 port. Then we have the Staro Brno app, front-end app lying on the 8081 port, and then Keycloak on 8080. Yeah, so normal users can get beers from the beer service. So you see the list of beers, right? But admins can reveal a new beer. If there's a new beer, you know, admin can introduce it to users. You know, like, hey, there's a new beer. Okay, put it there, and everybody is just, oh yeah, I need to try it, right? So data stored only in beer service. Only authenticated users can access the beer service, and tokens are propagated. It means that when the front-end application receives the token from the Keycloak, it just reuse it and call it with call the beer service endpoint with the token. Yeah, and emphasize more, users are stored only in Keycloak. Yeah, so I will use this chair, and we can go into the code. So you need to start Keycloak, right? So the easiest way is to use container image on a Quay.io, and it's, you know, like this is the command how to run it. I have it already started, so no need to do it again. So right now we have the local. Yeah, we need to do the presentation mode. Appear and presentation mode. We have the LocalBeer UI application and LocalBeer API application. Those are separate applications. Yeah, I think I will exit it right now. So, as I mentioned, Keycloak needs to know about these applications. These are called clients based on the OAuth specification. So, Keycloak needs to be compliant with these specifications, you know, and there you are vendor agnostic, you know, you don't care about if it's Keycloak or if it's something else. As the IAM, you can switch over like that. So we need to register these clients. So we go to the, as administrators, right? We go to the Keycloak site. This is Keycloak. We use the sophisticated admin credentials, yeah, and we need to register those clients, right? There's the concept called realms. It's like isolate. We need to make it bigger. It's okay. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. You are sitting in the first row. Yeah, it's fine. So it's called realm, and it's like separated worlds of your applications and stuff. So it means that we are creating the LocalBeer system for the Brno or whatever. So we create the specific realm, our world of the LocalBeer, right? I've already done it because, yeah, you know, it's live demo. So, but we can try it again. LocalBeer system, right? LocalBeer system might be like that. So we have the realm, and the setting, the whole setting is only done for this realm, LocalBeer system. We have the clients here, and we need to register these clients. So we need to create the client, and the required thing is client ID. It's just the name for the application, how it's gonna be identified in the system, right? So we have the LocalBeer UI, yeah, and you can, you know, name, description, everything, and that's it. We just register the LocalBeer UI application right now. Then there's the config about the capabilities that it has, and as I mentioned, we consider it there's two concepts of clients in OAuth specification. One is public clients, and the other one is confidential clients. It means that for public client is usually some single page application or even mobile app or some native application in your system or something, and those applications cannot store some secrets safely, how to say it, because Keycloak for some stuff need to also authenticate the client itself, not the users, right? But you need to provide the authentication for the client, you know. So single page applications, mobile apps, whatever, those are public clients, and then you have the backend service or something where you can store the secrets, right? As on a backend, right? I don't want to go into details much more, but yeah, we are using standard flow. It's the authorization code flow. It means that when user access the front-end application and is not authenticated, redirected to Keycloak. Then in Keycloak, authenticate it and redirect it back. So that should be it. Yeah, just for the record, for public clients, we should turn on the PXE. It's the extension for the OAuth. It's like proof key for code exchange, and it helps to improve the security. If you wanna know more, we can discuss later, I would say. Yeah. Next. Yeah. And another very important thing for the public clients is to set redirect URIs, URI and URL. We know that the application right now lives on localhost 8081, right? The redirect URI is very important because when there's the communication between the front-end application and Keycloak, the Keycloak needs to redirect back to the application. But there might be some attacker that change the redirect URI somehow and redirect you to the attacker side. So you need to prevent that, right? Because yeah, there might be some phishing page or whatever. So this is very important to redirect. Allow redirecting only to your application again. Yeah, there's for logout, there's redirect again. So when the logout is done, you just redirect again, for example, in this case, to the welcome page. So yeah, we have the client created for the UI. Then we need to create the client for the backend service. So we can LocalBeer API. That's the unique name for the client, right? As I mentioned, the service, the backend, will accept only the bearer tokens. So there's not gonna be any redirection back to Keycloak or whatever. The backend just sits there, get the token, check it if it's valid or not, and if it's not valid, reject the request. Yeah. So right now we can have it the default setting for that, as it's the client responsibility to make the redirection stuff. So please use some OIDC libraries or dependencies in your app that takes care of it. Don't write it on your own, please. please. Yeah. So that should be it. There's no redirection again for that backend application. Yeah. So don't need to do it probably. Yeah. So we just set the root URL yeah, here, and right now we have the applications created. Now we can go to our IDEs and we just start the server. I use the Maven Quarkus dev, so we are in development mode. Right now in these applications, here's the UI, and there's the backend applications. Those are separate applications. The crucial part is to set up some properties. For this purpose, I use the Quarkus OIDC client library for the UI, and it just allows you to set the parameters via the Quarkus properties, right? Application properties. So the first thing that you need to do is to tell your application where the Keycloak lives, for example, right? Doesn't have to be Keycloak, might be any other IAM solution. So in this code, in the UI and on the backend side, there's no mention of Keycloak. Let's say it's just complying for the OAuth standards, so everything works the same even for other vendors, let's say. So if you change your requirements in your company, you can just point it to other URL of that service, and everything should be working the same. So auth server URL, we just pointed to Keycloak for our realm. Then we need to provide the client ID for this application. It's LocalBeer UI, as we did for the Keycloak registration. Then there's the application type. It's important stuff, as we are telling Quarkus OIDC extension that it is web application. So it's possible to be redirected to the Keycloak, authenticate the users and get back. Then there's the PXE required through, as I've mentioned. For logout, I don't know if we need to mention something like that. So those are very important properties that you need to have. For the backend API, you need to do the same. You have the auth server URL where the Keycloak is, client ID, LocalBeer API, and then here's the difference. Application type is service. It just tell to the Quarkus OIDC client that hey, this application only accepts the bearer tokens. Don't redirect to the Keycloak again. Just like that. So it's important to do. As I've mentioned, this you can even provide the client secret for it, as the backend service can use it, but you should not like, if it's accepting only the bearer tokens, it should not be necessary to provide it even here, only when you are calling some endpoints inside the Keycloak, like the token introspection call. Yeah, so those are the main properties that needs to be done. I think we can show the application itself, and then we can take a look at the code. So we are accessing the front-end application. You can see 8081 port. We are here, welcome page. Then when I click the show beers, you need to be authenticated to see those beers. So you click the show beers and you are redirected to Keycloak. You can see that you can do some themes for that, that users might potentially don't recognize that you are redirected to some other application. So, but right now you are on the Keycloak site. So we have some user, Martin, for example, and we sign in. Previously I registered the user here via the form, but not necessarily to do right now. So we sign in, and then okay, Keycloak say to the front-end application, okay, this is the user authenticated, send the JSON web token with the it sends you the access token, ID token, and refresh token, and in the ID token you should find all these information about the user. Right now you see the full name, that is email, everything, the data is stored on the Keycloak side. And right now you see 3 beers: Starobrno medium, Starobrno bitter, Starobrno tradiční. But as I've mentioned, admins can do other stuff. So we log out the normal user, and then right now we authenticate as the administrator with the role admin. Right now there's a different setup, as you have the new item, reveal a new beer. Yeah, like the use case might be better, but at least for this demo purposes, it's like that. And when I click on this, there's gonna be call to the beer service. Hey, reveal the new beer, you know, store it into the database, and then when other users accessing it, they see the new beer. So we just right now, when I click it, the request is sent to the service, and the new beer should be added. For those who knows Starobrno, there's the new Starobrno Stadtl beer. So right now it's in the list of the beers. So even the normal user, Martin, should see the new beer, right? And it's done in a secure way. You know, no storing users in your applications, no storing credentials, no possible leakage or something like that, because Keycloak doesn't store passwords as well, right, as storing hashes and then checking only like if it's valid or not. So this is the application, simple, right? And I'd like to show you how easy is to done it with Quarkus and Keycloak together, right? For the backend service, for the API, we have the beer store. It's like REST handling for some endpoints. We have the database of beers here in this list, and there's the list of unrevealed beers. Yeah, you know, demonstration purposes. Right now, you are probably knowledgeable about, you know, the REST annotations and everything in Java apps. So every authenticated user can get the list of the beers, right? So yeah, you can just put the authenticated annotation, and the Quarkus OIDC library do everything for you, you know, in this. Or Quarkus OIDC extension itself, not the client one, right? So it's so simple to do it. If you need something more, you can provide the annotation roles allowed, that only the users with the role admin can access this endpoint. You know, so right now, if the user, if the admin send the request to this endpoint, it just the Quarkus OIDC extension check if the roles are for admins, and if yes, it just execute the endpoint and return the response, right? So it's not possible that user could reveal the new beer, let's say. So it's very simple. On the UI side, on the front end side, how to see the, yeah, wait a moment. View, appearance. Yeah, I need to, there's 3 classes. Welcome resource, it's only for the welcome page. Anybody can access it, right? The time is all right? Yeah, okay. It's gonna be probably longer than 1 hour, so sorry for that you need to be here. So welcome resource, and there's the beers resource. So when the user go to the front-end application, right? The template beers from the Quarkus Qt is rendered on the user side, right? And then when you access, you know, here's only the templating of that. As you provide there the name, email, and some more stuff to the HTML page that will be rendered, right? There needs to be handled the client call for the backend service, right? So if the user click on the button like reveal new beer, sorry, administrator needs to do it. There is a call to the backend service. It's nice on the Quarkus side using a REST client, as you can just, why I don't have the files here.
Alt+1.
Alt+1. Okay. So you can just create this interface. This interface where you can just say where the external API is. Like, okay, this backend service is on 8082. Just a reminder, we are on the UI side, on the client side right now. So you just register the REST client, and you can use this API to call the service, the backend service, right? So you just say, hey, what should be, what path it should be, what it consumes, what it produces. Yeah, right now it should be like produces application JSON, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. So it returns the list of beers, right? And it's easy as is. You don't need to create like HTTP client from the builder and everything, do your own stuff. You can just use this LocalBeer API. That is used here, you know. There's the LocalBeer API, the REST client, and yeah, so you don't need to create the requests on your own via the HTTP client, right? You can just use it as based on the contract in the API. LocalBeer API, I reveal new beers if it's admin, right? Yeah, and on the UI side, you get the bearer token, and you just propagate it to the service, you know, in a header, authorization, bearer, and the access token, right? So the token is propagated, and I would say it's really simple to do it. Even some more advanced stuff with this REST client and stuff like this. Yeah, I think that's it for this demo. As a bonus demo, I think I can show you something what we have for the observability, because sometimes you need to find out what's wrong with the Keycloak. So you know it's very crucial system in your deployment, you know, because if Keycloak, if the IAM fails, your users, you know, cannot authenticate, and your business may crash, right? And the business value and everything just drop, and you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. So we have observability stuff, as you can check how the Keycloak behaves, or other applications, right? So it collects logs, metrics, and traces. Those are like 3 pillars of the observability. I think it doesn't matter so much right now. You might be aware of it. So everything is collected by some external backends like Prometheus, Jaeger, or Loki, and then everything is displayed in Grafana dashboards. So you have everything on your one screen, you know, and you can check what is wrong, and you can find out what is like that. We have Keycloak benchmark project where you can only like executing one command. Everything is deployed on your Minikube instance automatically. So this one is just one command, and this is deployed in the Minikube in this Kubernetes cluster. I have pre-recorded demo for this to find out what's wrong with your Keycloak application. So it's gonna be better than I would provide it again, let's say. So right now this is the Grafana dashboard. As you see these graphs and everything, you know, and you can even specify some SLO metrics. I don't know if you are aware of like service level objectives and service level agreements, indicators, stuff like that. It's like with your customer or something, you just have the agreement that the application will be available like 99.99999 of all the time in the year or something like that, or that all these responses are done under 200 milliseconds or 250 milliseconds, something like that. There's the agreement that in some time, you know, you just need to be sure that it's happening, that no other request takes more than 1 second or something, or the 250 milliseconds, right? So it check in, but right now we see there's the drop. There's the drop, and there's the threshold what we are accepting, you know, and right now we see that some of these requests take more than 200 milliseconds or something. You need to find out what's wrong, right? So we have some JVM metrics, so we can take a look at them. We have the average memory usage, some CPU utilization and everything, and you see the time. You see that here in a garbage collection times, like here's the average garbage collection, information about garbage collecting, right? There's one peak in this time, and you see another ones, right? Like something is going on, it is in this time, and you need to find out what's wrong, right? So based on the JVM metrics, you see that like something happening, but you don't know what. So you will check the database. You see it like all the information about the database utilization, and right now you can see there's another peak at that time. Like, hey, what is going on right here, right? Number of acquired connections for the database. So it seems like it might be some DOS attack or something, or just users accessing Keycloak more than ever or something. So you see these peaks and something. So you would say, okay, probably more accessing to the database, so more users are going to Keycloak. We have the HTTP metrics. Yeah, and yeah, it's confirmed that you have right now number of requests in 5 minutes, and you see that the number of requests increased a lot that time. You know, like there's the peak, you know, on that. So you know that that many people accessing the application, and it seems you would need to scale it up, right? Probably you are not prepared for that, for the number of users, right? Right now you can see also how many requests are done for specific endpoints. You have a lot of information here, and also a heat map. Oh, sorry, it's pre-recorded, so we will wait for the older me when I recorded it. Yeah. A lot of information about the HTTP, and right now we have the heat map of all the requests that are done, and you can see I don't know if you can see here are some ranges how this responses, what was the time that was necessary to fulfill the request, right? So you can see some of them are more than 250 milliseconds, right? Some of it, and you need to find out why that request took so much time, right? So there's the concept about exemplars. Doesn't matter what is it, it just aggregates all the logs, metrics and traces for that particular request that is done. So you can have more context about the request itself. You can use the trace for that request, and it's basically it shows you what time was spent in the code, you know, in the Keycloak application. You can even provide the tracing for your application, that you have some service or some model mapping, whatever, in your application, and you need to find out much time was necessary to execute the method or the method in the class, right? Right now there's the execution of some code that took over 1 second, and okay, it's weird, right? And we can see it's Argon 2 password hash provider. As the password hashing is very computational difficult, demanding. It's weird that, you know, for the password hash for that request it took one second, right? So so you can also check about the password hashing, password validations rate. Yeah, you have a lot of graphs. It is provided by Keycloak by default. So you see that the password hashing took a lot of time here. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, again in the Jaeger, check the trace. Okay, another request, another password hashing. So it seems that your CPU for that Keycloak doesn't handle the load, right? In Jaeger you can have this nice graph of the whole execution of your code in your application, and it just shows you where the time was spent, like in a major time, and you can see the password hashing again. So you can just check the setting of your application. What's the setting of the CPU, right? Like, okay, we would need to have more replicas or something, more pods for Keycloak, or just increase the CPU count for that. And here in the cluster we have the Keycloak running, and we have some data about that. And right now we see that there's the limit set for using only one CPU, and we know after these informations that it's not enough, that we would need to provide more replicas or increase the limit of CPU that will be used for the Keycloak, that will be allocated in the Kubernetes cluster on specific nodes. So I think it's quite nice to have some observability like that, that you have more and more context about what is happening. Yeah, and I think that's it from my side, and I will hand over to Lukáš. Sorry, it
Thank
took
you.
more time than I expected, but
That's
yeah.
fine.
Feel free to grab another beer before this.
Yeah.
Thanks, really. Feel free to grab something to eat.
Yes, definitely. If you feel you need a refreshment, please grab something.
Můžeš klidně použít
Jasně,
zatím na
použij,
slidy,
no, no.
pak to klidně jenom zavři.
Já to tak jenom odpovím. A můžu to na to položit?
Jo. Asi to nezhoří.
I just want to point out at the end there will be plenty of room for questions. If I or Martin won't be, enough educated, we can point you to our colleagues, and I will talk about it a little bit more right now. Thank you, Martin, for the introduction of Keycloak. Now I would like to continue about project itself, how to connect to our community, potentially contribute or collaborate together. A little bit of history. This project comes from Red Hat. It was created by two of our colleagues, Bill Bark and Stian Torgersen. Torgersen is still our project lead from the beginning. Bill is now part of Quarkus team, as far as I know. In 2023, it was donated to Cloud Native Computing Foundation. The vision is same. We think that the 20% of functionality can cover 80% of requirements. There are many contributors, and I would like to point out that the team, which is part of IBM right now, consists of many different countries. Altogether it's like 20 or 25 engineers right now. And we also have colleagues which are maintainers of this project, which is Marek and Vašek. Specifically to Marek, Marek is the contributor from the beginning, and right now he leads the project around clients, our specification, and communicate with other community maintainers. Vašek specifically is responsible for leading the team which integrates Quarkus and does the core, let's say, implementation for the Keycloak background or backend. And also to mention that we are in a Kubernetes world, also this team is responsible for implementing the operator.
Yeah, Vašek is my boss.
Yeah. I will start from beginning, but it will be briefly. If you are new to Keycloak, just visit our web page and find the link for getting started, guys. There you can find some beginner solutions or documentation, how to Keycloak start, how to integrate with client, then how to configure your administration application, in this case Keycloak. And also there are user guides and blueprints how to install it and deploy it for a production ready cluster. If you are not aware, there also exists one book written by our colleagues. It's available on Amazon as a paperback or PDF. I think the PDF is much more cheaper. This is a little bit a joke, but as you know, open source projects are based on contributions. And if you would like to contribute, there is a chance to, I'm sorry, but I see there are no QR codes, maybe something broken, but I hope we can share the presentation with you afterwards. There are links which will direct you to our, let's say, documentation, how to start, the first easy issue, or if you will find a label in GitHub project, there is a help wanted. So this is all a very good opportunity if you would like to start to contribute to our project. Another option for, let's say, more mature people, or who has some idea how to contribute to Keycloak and add some, not only extension, but new functionality. The best way is to create a GitHub discussion and start communicating with our maintainer group, project lead, and most probably also people from the community will join. This is about not only mixing something in a cauldron, but if you like to help directing the Keycloak to future, these 4 groups are a very good point to start. There are links to Slack channels, also to projects or GitHub projects or discussions, and specifically for SRE, there is a link for this benchmark project. There exists Also the documentation on our main web page, how you can start just locally integrating the Keycloak with Kubernetes, deploying, also starting the load testing against it, and also some advanced topics like how to enable it for AWS cloud. So this SIG group is very interesting, not say opportunity, but there you will meet people from other areas, not only Red Hat, but from companies like Hitachi, Bosch, Adorsys, and many more. There are contributors from, you know, they are just solution architects, experts in IAM, and they join because they want to, you know, propagate Keycloak, but not only, but also to do it better, because that's the meaning for open source. And I must say that these people are very passionate about it, but also educated. And I must say I'm lucky that I'm working with these people. This is for mostly for those who maybe are ethical hackers. There is also a chance to get a reward. There is a email address. So if you find something specific for a vulnerability and don't want to expose it for other people externally, you can send it to us and collaborate on mitigating this issue. But for contributors, it's good to know that you don't need to test it on your local machine. There is a GitHub Actions workflow, very extensive, and right now it takes like 1 hour and 30 minutes, and it does all the regression testing for you. So if you need to contribute and test it and be sure that there is nothing broken inside, the GitHub Actions does it for you. And it's not necessary to, you know, wait or pay for something, because the CNCF provides how to say, paid accounts. So there is a collaboration between Microsoft and CNCF. So right now we are part of the CNCF account, and we can reuse more, I mean, the power of the GitHub Actions. A little bit about the community. For virtual connection, there are options to join the Cloud Native Slack channel, or Slack, Slack, and join our channels, specifically Keycloak, if you are looking for help. And if you want to collaborate, there is a channel called Keycloak Dev. There is a community, a discourse forum, and also a mailing list. Forum and mailing list is used for looking for help. If you'd like to meet people personally, there are multiple conferences annually. KeyConf, it already held this year. It was in Amsterdam, late August. Next year, I think it will be around beginning of September. The people around KeyConf are mainly focused, let's say, banking systems, but not only. The second thing is the next year in Germany. It's a developer conference organized by people from community, but also from one of our maintainers, Alexander. There is still a chance to submit a proposal. I think next week, or I'm not sure right now, but still around 150-70 people. There are 2 categories, what I know, and you will meet in person not only the maintainers, but also the developers of extensions which do the implementation on top of Keycloak. And maybe I don't know if Martin mentioned it, but that's I think the strength also for Keycloak that it has the service provider interface, which allows you to implement your own implementations of your custom features and attach it to Keycloak. And the last thing is about our meetup. It's moderated also by Alexander, one of our maintainers. The occurrence is not periodical or always, but normally it's like once in 2 or 3 months, and it's only via YouTube, so you can join it only virtually. The last thing may be interesting for you. If your company uses Keycloak and want to be visible, we will be really glad if you can, for example, create a PR and join the adopters in our GitHub project. And more interesting would be to collaborate on some presentation and create a blog of a case study, or also to go for a conference this year in Atlanta, which is the conference for KubeCon Unite America. There will be a case study of Hitachi and Enterprise DB. And what I would like to mention that Hitachi is also one of the main contributors to Keycloak and has a dedicated team which implements the functionality, especially around financial API. I don't know if it's already in experimental or preview state, but they would like to implement or already working on implementation for wallet, like ID wallets or financial wallets. I'm not sure, but it uses the OIDC4VC specification for it, and they say it's a future. For example, if you would like to authorize against government and stuff like that. This will be a short demo about the test framework. It has a lot around Keycloak, but based on the experience and feedback, we know that the contributors were really discouraged to contribute, especially due to our old framework. But this demo will be on my laptop, so sorry for a disruption. I will be back in a minute or two.
You're not connected
to Wi-Fi.
Here's the password.
I think those pictures will be quite large, so I hope it won't be a problem. The short background. Right now we have 2 test suites. One is based on Archilian Unit 4. For people, it's really hard to understand it. There is a bad documentation around it, and a lot of configuration. Just to imagine, there are like 5,000 automated tests right now. This let's say work group around test or intention to change something started last year with a proof of concept with a minimal viable product, which is almost ready. It's already released. It's already part of the not framework, but the project. And we also started with the test migration. We focused right now on admin package, which is the most used REST API, but we plan to follow. The motivation was to create a specific architecture which will help us to not be, attached or dependent on only specific client, or in our case we call it supplier or dependency, and we would like to change it to a new, I don't know what will come after Quarkus, but we plan that our framework is able to just switch it very simply, just removing one of the suppliers, and it's based on a Java service loader. What I would like to mention also is around categorization. If you know, when there are multiple functionalities, you need to test them separately. Sometimes you need to speed up the process of testing, so you need to run them concurrently. And in GitHub Actions workflow, there is a possibility of doing this. We know that it's not possible right now to trigger those tests parallel in Maven, but we can do it at least to select some specific cases and run them together simultaneously, and in the meantime parallel run different runners with another categories. As I mentioned, the PR execution time is around 1 hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours, something between. The second or the third thing was the developer experience, because Keycloak has a lot of functionalities, and my own experience when migrating some tests was quite horrible, but at least the good benefit from it was that we found another bugs in Keycloak. So if you think that you would like to do your own test framework, not specifically like this, but also if you are interested in quality engineering, this is a possibility also to find new bugs. This was actually, I was surprised, but yeah, that's true. My initial intention was that I think this code is perfect, and yeah, it will work, and I just use new templates and it should run smooth, but it wasn't like that. So that's a good experience for myself. The new framework is based on JUnit 5, which also implements the Selenium WebDriver for HTML interaction. Small-array microprofiler is important for us because we wanted to have the configuration in Java code, and this thing helps us a lot to remove the not only redundant but a mess from the POM XML files of Maven. And the last thing is the test containers framework, which do the life cycle for our database containers right now. You will see Keycloak supports multiple database providers, so for us it's like removing the pain from the ass or something like that, because we had different services which didn't work well. The heart of the framework is the registry or dependency injection registry. It's based on the JUnit callbacks. This test extension or Keycloak integration test extension lies in the manifest space. There we have also the test framework extension, which provides the suppliers, and in our world, the supplier means that it can be event, it can be Keycloak server, database, some managed resource, like Realm client user. Lifecycle in our registry means that it starts in a specific order, the required resources, suppliers, and if it's necessary, it destroys them and recreates them again. Thanks to the JUnit callbacks, we use the before method and before class annotations inside or implementations, which helps us to decide if the realm is recreated every method or if it's executed only once in the beginning of the test class and removed after the test is finished or test class is finished. We have specific injections. Here I would like to mention that Quarkus has, I think, similar thing in Keycloak, not Keycloak, but in Quarkus integration. I'm not sure, but something Stian told me about this, so I hope so, but I don't want to mislead you. These are a real annotation which will provide you with the object of instance. In terms of realm, it's not only that it will create for you the default realm, but also it allows you to access the REST API of admin, and by calling the specific methods you can then handle things around creation, getting the data and stuff like that. Keycloak server right now has three, I forgot about the fourth one, which is cluster, but in this case it's not necessary to talk about it. Embedded one, it means that the test and the server runs in the same process, and it's really good for debugging on the Keycloak server side. The default one for the GitHub actions executions is the distribution, which means in our terms it's not archive which is unzipped and then executed or some Docker container, but it's very close to it. I don't want to say it's a lightweight Keycloak, but it's very close, but it enables us the opportunity that still it runs as a Keycloak object. You don't need to do any specific, unzipping and stuff like that. The last option is remote. You just provide the information of URL. Right now it's not customized. it expects the local host. The last thing I would like to mention before the demo is the database containers. As you can see, there are multiple ones. In this demo, we will use the HT one, which is also the default one. And for selecting, specific database or the supplier, we call it supplier, database supplier. We use the small right profiler for it, and here is an example of our test file. We specified some values, and in our demo I will use the remote one. I will start a Keycloak container behind. I don't need to select the database right now, but just to show you that if you'd like to change the browser database, you are allowed to do it. For example, for MySQL, or in terms of browser, there is also Firefox support, and and in this case we use the HTML unit 3 driver for running the web tests. We also have a specific configuration for logging because normally for CI/CD you don't want to have extensive logs, so we turn them off and just inform what is necessary. So it passed, it not passed, nothing more. But for the logging, for the debugging, it's really important that you can specify also the categories of our packages you would like to see. Okay, right now I will start a demo, which I would like to here thank my colleague Shimon who did it. It will show you the current test in Archilian. Specifically, pay attention to the extensions or parent classes. Over here, there is nothing special, but we have variables which are not defined in this class. There are also some methods which are probably in a parent class as well. In here I would like to show you that if you go up, it doesn't mean it's the end. It can continue, and I must say that we used a really anti-pattern for creating this test suite. In the beginning I think it was not this intention, but right now it's really problematic to understand. And be sure that if you write something, and especially if you need to configure anything special in your realm, that it won't change or break anything. And here you can see there is some before annotation, so every time the child class call the test method, it also does this configuration before. And here you can see there are those methods I show you before. If I'm moving it too fast, just say to me. Okay, and let's move to the next example. This is the most, let's say, horrible example how it can be. This is user test. It's quite large or huge, and if I will go down, it had almost 4,000 lines, different configurations, methods, tests, and I just don't want to go through it. This test class is already refactored and moved to a new test framework, but it's not part of this demo. As you can see, here is another abstract class, admin, another one, and I think this is the last one. I just show you that right now it is used by another 687 classes, and I think this is the thing that people from Japan said to our maintainers from Japan, that they would like to contribute, but the requirement is to have a test. And if you need to create a test, you need to understand this, let's say, huge complex code, which is not simple. And from my experience, it took me like 2 to 3 years to understand what's behind, because also the Archilian is not very well documented. So it's like you need to open the debug mode and go through every test class and implementation of Archilian. We decided to do it differently, not only use the composition. Sometimes we also use the abstraction, and the class can extend the classes. But to do it in a more isolated way, that each class can be triggered with a different configuration of server and with a different configuration of realm user some functionality. This is the main annotation which do the life cycle, starts the Keycloak, the database. This is the default configuration. It semi-applies for the inject realm, which is dependent. There is ordering inside our registry. So if you want to add a new supplier, you need to decide if it needs to start after the realm creation, before Keycloak, and still the registry knows if there are some dependent classes and destroys them atomically. Here is an example that you can also change a configuration of a default realm. In this case, you want to have a different display name, or require users to use the email and be as a username. I think Shimon told me that his tool is error prone, so I hope so. Another managed resource is user, specified with some user config. I will show you. We use builder pattern for it, and in each class you can specify the configuration and decide if there will be a default user used for your test or not. The same pattern is used for realm. As I said in the beginning of my part, when I introduced the test framework, there is a life cycle. We have three options: method, class, and global. Global, it means it starts in the beginning and destroys in the end. And the method and class follows the JUnit 5 callbacks. So if you have before class and you have lifecycle class, it means that it starts before all the method execution. Sometimes you need a fresh user or client per each method. You can do it differently. If it's too complicated to do the proper cleanup, it's better way to call the inject client with the lifecycle method. It means that after the method is finished, the client is destroyed and recreated for the test which follows. If it's not necessary, there is an option to call client directly and do the change with the procedure called update with cleanup, where you say to the config builder in the beginning, create this ID specifically and revert the managed client to the beginning as it was created as a default one. This update with cleanup can be used also for users or realms. In your test you can use also different realms and attach different clients as users to different realms, and we just use the reference for this. The test just says that and test that the realm 2 doesn't have the user 1 and realm 1 doesn't have the user. It's just an example, simple example, but it's how it works that inside the registry and within the lifecycle creation or the instance creation or the supplier creation, it is possible to attach specific resources to particular realm. As I said, Keycloak is started with default configuration, user, admin client, but in some cases you would like to change the behavior. So it's possible to do it again with the builder pattern where you specify features, for example, authorization, impersonation. There can be also a feature for multi-site, or if you want to persist your sessions. I think we are, yes. We are going to the end. This is the last example, which says here is some custom provider, which you can test also within your test class. Just simply when you start the Keycloak server, add the dependency inside. Now, if everything is in place and also the Keycloak server is executed in the background as a container and configured with our custom provider, I can run the test. No. Okay, that's it. Maybe last thing I'd like to mention is, as you can see, there are multiple suppliers. Right now I have turned it on just to show you that there are a lot of suppliers which are part of the this life cycle or execution, but still there are others which are right now skipped. In this case, I would like to particularly thank Stian, who provided a lot of his experience and code to be, you know, to make it better, and also to Shimon, who co-works on this project. And I hope in the near future, I would like to, thanks to the feedback of one of my colleagues, I want to switch this test framework also to quick starts, to show to people that it's quite easy to test the Keycloak itself, and not to be worried about to understand Archilian and, you know. That's it. Thank you for your attention.
So, if you have any questions.
And this won't be like an advertisement. We would like to definitely be in touch if it's valuable for you.
So we have a question.
Are you supporting Java 25 now, or is there some roadmap for it at the moment?
We are waiting for Quarkus to support 25.
It should
Quarkus does.
Right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure because it should be backported to the latest microarrays, which is 28 something, which is releasing probably today. Or
already that's true, but maybe some like small parts, but more or less we are always like before actual JDK release already working on.
Yeah. First of all, we need to use Quarkus LTS versions right now. So we are on 3.27 LTS right now. We test Keycloak with Java 25, but we didn't state anywhere right now that users can use it, you know, even for container images. We are still on the Java 21.
Thanks.
Still LTS, yeah.
So, is there any specific security practices that you do to keep this security sensitive piece of code in like good shape? Like normally people do some sort of static testing in a regular project. I see you are open source, you have this bug bounty program. Is there something extra that you do?
I can answer.
Yeah.
In GitHub Actions specifically, there are multiple workflows which do the scans. What I know right now, we use the code QL, which is part of GitHub. It's a static check of the Java code. Then we have also Sneak and Trivi, I think, and this is specifically for containers. So if there is any CVE or any vulnerability in our container or a dependency in the container, it notifies us. It creates. We have a team led by one of our colleagues from Brazil, which do the, let's say, the handling behind. We have Keycloak private repository. If there is any CVE submitted, and particular people is invited to collaborate on the fix. So yes, there is a process how to to support or implement the OWASP recommendations, and also CNCF have some requirements which are part of also the incubation project submission that we need to have specifically defined in our project and stuff like that. Does it answer your question or not really?
And yes.
Or you are interested in if you are doing some reviews or?
Yeah, I was really interested in the
practices.
Yeah.
Yes, normal practice based on my experience, then Martin can say, is the pull request can be merged only by a maintainer. The pull request must be reviewed at least by 2 people. So one is maintainer and another one is a colleague who works on this code. This is the static review, and the dynamic review is done by the automation which I already mentioned.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it's nice that as we are open source and we are quite popular in the community, we have more eyes on the code, right? Somebody has a serious business done on top of Keycloak, right? So they always sometimes check, the code and etc. And moreover, we usually have also conformance testing if we are complying with the OAuth specification and stuff. So that's another check.
Yeah, but what I remember, I know that some people which are now discussing the new version of API are telling, yeah, probably it comes from Japan, that there is some wrong implementation or not correctly implemented API in terms of URI, something like this. I know it from Takashi, and I know that he is proposing something for admin API 2 version. Yeah, but still, it's a lot of discussion behind it.
Would you know if any cloud provider offers Keycloak as a service if I don't want to manage my own instance?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ones, a lot of providers like that. As it's open source, everybody can use it, so they leverage it, and provide it as a service. Yeah.
Cool.
I know that in Germany, one of the biggest customers has the deployment in Azure. Another large customer in Brazil has it in AWS. and I know that Keycloak itself can be deployed on Kubernetes, so their deployments are, let's say, particularly installed on Kubernetes running on top of this public cloud.
Yeah.
I know the old installation was mainly deployed on some virtual machines, and the clustering was done that you have multiple machines, but in these days we are, especially when we have right now the operator of like 3 years already. I know the first version of operator arrived in 2020, and the newest version is like 2 or 3 years.
Might be.
So this is, let's say, the direction we would like to go, containerization, Kubernetes.
But by default, yeah, we don't provide any service, Keycloak as a service, something you need to deploy it on your own. Right now.
What would be the motivation to use your code instead of AWS native IAM solution? You have just mentioned that one customer does that. I am wondering, like, what are the benefits?
This is a good question. I don't know if I can answer it. At least what I know, the people in Germany, specifically it's about Bosch, they are using Keycloak internally, not only for the developer division, but also for product deployments. I think they are using it for the engines, bike engines division, authentication, authorization, and I don't know if it's behind the cost, if it's Keycloak deployed. I don't know if it's some support from Red Hat. I don't know, but if they use some public cloud and want to use Keycloak, I think it's because you need to provide your own deployments, but it costs you less, and that's one thing. And another one, that over the years the project is already tested and matured. I don't want to tell you some sales, or because I'm not good in this, but I at least try to answer, but I don't know if it's satisfied you.
It is just interesting. I mean, I can imagine that somebody would do something like that for to be able to move more easily, but probably every major provider implements OAuth or whatever, one of these protocols, which will be a problem. Maybe the advantage is that they have the user database or this sort of stuff under control, and they can move this part in case of need. I was wondering if there is something else you know.
I think maybe someone knows it. Maybe we can ask one of the maintainers, Sebastian Schuster, who is from Bosch, if you would be interested.
But basically the main advantage of using Keycloak is that you can use it for free, right? Kind of. If you don't need the support, if you when you are deploying, you need some people to handle it, right? So, as Lukáš said, there might be less cost for the deployment itself.
Thank you.
Yeah, and maybe it's good to say that it's a community project, and the CNCF Foundation, one of the requirements was not only Red Hat, but other big companies should say we will participate on it, or we are already participating on it, and Bosch is one of them. Hitachi from Japan is another such a large company which contributes to Keycloak.
Yeah, there's a lot of companies, even some public services around the globe that using Keycloak. So
Just to mention that in the list of the adopters there is this how to call it? No, the abbreviation is CERN, the Swiss department for the magnetic and the research, and I know that people also from Air Force or NASA are using it inside, but this information are like communicated within the conferences.
Yeah, and I don't know if we are allowed to.
It's Keycloak. I don't say anything about product. So,
are there any questions from the stream or?
And I have a question, because
Okay.
I think one of you mentioned that there can happen that like Keycloak goes down and that people cannot log in. So there is no option to do like high availability, so you are always on?
We have some blueprints how to run a Keycloak like high availability, with some fallbacks and some failover mechanisms and like that, something like that. We have dedicated SRE team that handles this kind of topic. So
I can tell a little bit because I was part of the team which did the initial, let's say, investigation behind it. The initial setup was for AWS. The requirement was to have active setup of databases in multiple regions, not zones. In terms of availability zone in AWS specifically, it means that the network connection is very close to each other. I mean, those data centers, and the latency is pretty low in terms of regions. You say that one of the data center is, for example, in St. Louis, and another one is in Dublin, in Ireland. We tested the most, let's say, aggressive. So in 2 different regions, we were not successful, but at least it opened the discussion between what the customers wants, the team dedicated who will implement the better specification for it. Right now the Keycloak supports AZ, so it means multi-zone deployments, so you have 2 different clusters. In AWS, I know it's used with the global accelerator, as far as I know, and you have multiple checks that, for example, if you have, what I know, the active is still not possible, but right now is active passive possible. So we have a disaster recovery deployment, different cluster, and there are checks that if there is how is it called, server side drop down, there is a specific term in the Keycloak, how is it called, but there are checks also in the cache layer that there is a split brain scenario, and once this happens, it will do some remediation, and there are some steps you need to do, for example, and in terms of fully automated way, if it's only on a infrastructure layer, the accelerator knows in terms of like 2 or 3 minutes that the zone is down, and then it redirects the traffic to a disaster recovery one. And just to know that there is also the cache layer with the external InfiniSpan and databases, but database is not in active setup, it's still in active passive, and the same applies for InfiniSpan, which is the cache layer.
Yeah, and we have a lot of resources about high availability in our guides. We have a separate category for high availability, so you will find much more there.
Yes. And just to mention, it happened like 2 or 3 weeks ago. One of our colleagues from the Infinispan team finished the benchmark, which was used like for showing the scalability of Keycloak, and he used like 100,000 users, and Keycloak was able to scale to handle 10,000 requests per second.
Refresh token. Refresh.
Maybe I'm not right, but
Refresh tokens per second handling, and I don't know, like 2,000 users logins per second, something like that. So I would say.
And you can read this success story on the Keycloak webpage. It was recently posted, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. And if you have more questions, we can talk after that. And thank you very much for the attention.
Thank you. We can switch to Czech.